What's up, champs? It's Langston 2 Live back with another reaction, and we got Jamari Druski allegations. Diddy allegations? Diddy files? I ain't gonna lie, this is getting scarier and scarier the more time goes on. I hope this isn't true, because I love me some could have been records and some could have been love. All right, so let's hope this ain't true. Let's hope he clears the allegations. But let's also check out this video. All right, let's get right into it.
So Druski has been an up-and-coming star for around the last 4 years. He was ushered into the internet game around the same time as his good friend Jack Harlow, and it was like as Jack was rising up the ranks of music, Druski was rising up the ranks of comedy. During that time, he has become the most infamous skit comedian online, and this has obviously afforded him many opportunities, including...
Does Druski have better skits than Desi? Because I feel like Desi got some good skits too. Who got the best skits out right now?
His own show,
I think Druski might be the
sponsorships
#1
and
skit.
Commercials, features in movies, steak and Happy Dad alcoholic beverages, a feature on 2K, a comedy tour,
I did not know he was on 2K.
Frequent collaborations with the biggest streamers and comedians in the world. Basically, this man became a cash cow, as Druski has an insane ability to take everyday situations and types of people and turn them into a viral skit or a meme. And his comedy just has this way of reflecting and predicting in real-life situations. But now Druski has found himself wrapped up in the Diddy situation, as he and his friend and popular wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., have been listed in some of these Diddy accusations.
I ain't gonna hold you. Druski, hopefully this isn't these allegations are not true, but I'm gonna let you know right now, I ain't putting nothing past Odell. I ain't gonna hold you. Hey, say what you want to say. I ain't putting it past
the claims
them.
they're throwing around here are honestly so outlandish that it almost makes this hard to believe. Now, yesterday was when this bombshell would hit the timeline.
Yo, appreciate
in
the
Ashley Parham versus Sean Diddy Combs. An amended complaint names 2 more plaintiffs and several additional defendants, including Odell Beckham Jr., Druski, and a myriad of other people.
No, Jaguar Wright. Hey, wait a second. As much shit Jaguar Wright be talking, as much she be exposing, I don't know. This might be a little bit wrong. I don't like. Hey now. Whoever is going to the feds with Jaguar Wright's name in it, just know she gonna expose everything now. She about to, hey, where Jaguar at? Bro, we need to hear an interview from her about this.
Versus Sean Diddy Combs, and then a couple John Does that were not listed.
For sure.
And now those John Does, the main ones, have been listed as Druski and Odell Beckham Jr. In total, Druski's name is actually listed 45 different times in this lawsuit. But these are the key details that really make everyone think that this is pretty far-fetched. Defendant Diddy then instructed another defendant Doe to also violate plaintiff defendant Doe, who has been determined to be defendant Druski, is what they're alleging. They say instead of immediately violating the plaintiff, defendant Druski doused plaintiff with more oil and lubricant and then jumped on top.
Not the Diddy lube. Not the freaking baby oil, bro.
Of the plaintiff's naked and oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide, and knocking the wind out of the plaintiff due to his enormous size. So
What? What kind of shit?
So they're saying Druski was in there slipping and sliding all around. Defendant Druski then caught himself from sliding over the plaintiff's oiled body, and off the bed, he then began violating the plaintiff through her reproductive parts. While defendant Druski was violating the plaintiff, defendant Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and began pleasuring himself while recording plaintiff's violation by defendant Druski. Another party's phone.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been hearing this a lot more and more lately. That this man likes sitting by the bed and watching. I ain't gonna lie. Little creepo. You might as well be Quagmire at this point. Giggity head ass.
Phone fell on the bed near the plaintiff. The plaintiff then attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil/lubricant.
Damn, that's a lot of lube. What the hell? It slipped out your hands.
that had been doused all over her person by defendants Diddy and Druski. Obviously, at this point, the baby oil is like infamous in this Diddy case.
I definitely believe he watches.
For those who don't remember, they claim that they discovered over 1,000 bottles of laced baby oil in Diddy's house.
And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
There was a lot of shiny ass in there, I'll tell you that.
Plaintiff's attempt to grab the phone. Throughout this violent gang violation, defendant Diddy made constant belittling remarks to plaintiff, including that he owned her now. When defendant Druski was finished violating the plaintiff, defendant KK entered the room to examine the condition of the plaintiff, who was barely able to move or control her bodily functions. And they say this is when they attached her to an IV and pretty much brought her back to life, made sure she wasn't gonna die. And that was apparently when Diddy, Shane, who is apparently the man who introduced Diddy to this person, KK, Odell, and Druski then exited the residence to the backyard where they smoked marijuana and cigarettes.
Wait, why is Druski throwing up gang signs, bro? That is definitely a gang sign that he's throwing up.
Who is apparently the man who introduced Diddy.
That ain't just a regular ass
KK, Odell, and Druski then exited
hand
the residence
sign that you throw up right there. That is definitely something that he ain't supposed to be throwing up. I ain't gonna lie. Where you learn that from, son? Hey, who taught you that?
Where they smoked marijuana and cigarettes. And so obviously this all had the internet going absolutely wild. Of course, people immediately started resurfacing old clips of Diddy hanging out with Druski.
Don't mind if I do.
They were basically saying that this clip hits different now, as it was also rumored that Diddy had been lacing drinks at his infamous parties.
I wouldn't.
I'm ashamed that I bought that bottle a couple times. Can't even cap. Damn, I used to be a real Ciroc boy too. God dog it. God dog it. Now that I think about it, I've been supporting this monster for a long ass time. God dog it. God dog it.
Shut.
Druski was also asked at one point what it was like to attend these Diddy parties.
You ever been to one of Diddy parties?
Yeah, I've been in attendance. I've been in attendance. Not, hey, what the fuck you smirking for?
You saying that?
I've been in attendance.
We just asking regular questions.
That's all I said. I said I've been in attendance. I have been in attendance.
We never been. We just asking. We just asking.
Yeah. As soon as you asked, he said,
"You had fun."
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, you did.
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, I had fun. Yeah, I mean, it was a party. I wasn't at one of them parties.
What
party? Basically,
What party?
yeah. He just told on himself. I ain't gonna lie. He know what kind of party's going on. He ain't say he said he was at a party. He didn't say he was at one of them parties. So clearly, you know that something else is going on, or there's another type of party.
Been in attendance at a puff party. You know what I'm saying? I've been in attendance. Yeah, I went. Yeah, the party I went to, it was girls turn up. You know what I'm saying? The regular. You know what I mean? Other celebrities and shit. Yeah,
that's what you do.
Now, obviously, Druski does like to troll. Yes, his body language became a little bit uncomfortable, but you do have to keep in mind that thousands of different people have been to these Diddy parties, allegedly, and obviously when they're all
a lot of people been on the island too.
You know, I went to the Diddy party, but I didn't go to like the Diddy party, like the behind the doors party that was going on. So then I started questioning, well, what was Diddy's real relationship with Druski? And as you guys can see here, back in 2021, Druski did have this show called Sneaking In with Druski. And upon further inspection, you can see that this was airing on Revolt, which was a media network that was primarily owned and founded by Sean Diddy.
Y'all remember that show? Did anybody watch that?
And although he no longer owns any shares in the company, back in 2021, he was still running that shit, and he presumably gave that opportunity to his boy Druski. I also thought that this little tidbit was interesting because Odell Beckham Jr. and Druski have been friends for quite a few years now.
Did they become friends through Drake?
Odell Beckham Jr. struck up a friendship with Druski upon finding his videos and invited the comedian to stay at his home during the COVID-19 pandemic. And obviously, the pandemic was back in early 2020. And that's where these dates really start not matching up because the defendant is saying that this happened on March 23rd, 2018, way before Druski was even remotely famous or known online. But
you got to do a little something to get on the spotlight. You feel me? Maybe you did something, you waited a little while, and then you get some stardom. You feel me? Like sometimes you gotta do a little something strange to get that spotlight on you. So now I did see that Druski's commented on this and said something about he was still living with his mama in 2018. So that might be, you know, that might have some type of
where the defendant
truth
says
to it
that
as well.
this guy Shane invited the plaintiff over to his home to assist him with his cancer medications because he stated he was weak and unable to open his medications. She says upon her arrival that this guy Shane wanted to give her a ride in his new car, and she says this is when this guy Shane pretty much set her up for the violation that allegedly involved Diddy, Druski, and OBJ. Now, much like with Jay-Z with his recent Diddy accusations, Druski would respond swiftly to this filing, where he says the allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke and living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation, so the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I'm fully confident that the evidence will expose this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the legal system to peddle false narratives. So he kind of has the same stance that Jay-Z had back a couple months ago, saying this whole thing is a bunch of bullshit, and the timeline isn't even really adding up. And of course, when something like this comes out, you're gonna have a lot of people running with the story, like this tweet that went viral where this girl says, I can't believe hashtag Odo Beckham Jr. and hashtag Druski are in this new Diddy lawsuit taking turns violating this girl. Wow. You had other popular hip-hop.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I
Druski
just don't
did
like
what?
about social media and a lot of these like court cases. It's becoming very trendy for people to be able to stir a narrative on social media where it's now becoming very relevant to the point where you're pretty much giving the the jury idea of what really is going on, right? If I can't tamper with evidence, if I can't persuade the jury, what better way can I persuade it by paying social media outlets to put out a negative viewpoint or like a negative agenda, you know? That negative agenda is going to get to the jury, they're going to see it, and then they're already premeditated their conviction at that point, you know?
Same sentiment is shared
that's the
here,
only thing that I just don't like
this
about
misinformation meme.
using
then you had
social
people
media
using
in
Druski's own
court.
skits against him, like this guy who says there's no way that this Druski shit is real. Shit! Basically saying that was Druski's reaction to this information. Another user says Druski after someone didn't give him consent.
Dude, like, come on, be real.
This guy specifically seems to really be leading the charge when it comes to these Druski jokes
memes
about this very serious situation. He says Druski's lawyer right now.
We got good and bad news. Good news, we got your payment, buddy. Bad news, they gave you life.
Okay.
Sayonara.
So yeah, it's just crazy to see this guy's own skits and various statements being used against him at this point, even if it is a joke.
They
These are the
kind
type
of
of things that people try to get off online, and they do end up going viral. And it's really all just for a couple little Twitter shekels and a little bit of clout. Like it's not worth making this type of weird, shitty joke,
dude,
whether you believe he's guilty for some reason or not. Because honestly, I think it's a whole bunch of nonsense. And it leads to other people
at least in
more serious
at least in his bio,
like
it says, "I just be
so now that
trolling."
Druski was named in the Diddy lawsuit for gang violation, this creepy skit he made in 2022 about guys getting girls drunk to have sex with them is aging so horribly. And it's like, does the person that posted this not understand that the entire point of this skit was to pretty much dog out guys that act like this? Like, the whole point of the skit is to say the guys who act like this are pieces of shit. Now, here is a clip from 4 months ago.
What's the best way to like make yourself not look like you're doing something, right? To make fun of the people that make fun of what you're doing. But I honestly don't think I honestly don't think Druski on that. I'm like, this is just my opinion right now. I guess I guess anything, like, you can't put nothing past anyone nowadays. But it's gonna be a sad day if this is like something, like if more evidence comes out. I don't see any more evidence really coming out about this. I feel like is going to be just like the Jay-Z situation where his name's brought up in it, but there's no hardcore evidence to actually convict or do anything about it, in this situation.
Of this news network.
I feel like this just
and
kind
of
of
the lawyer representing this woman,
this
Ashley
person's just probably
Parham, in
trying
this
to
case, and now these other two Jane Does speaking
remember
on behalf of her
who was
client
all in the
and
room
entire
at this
situation.
Well,
just
her attorney
naming
says she was in
names.
her 30s at the time of this alleged violent attack. It happened just about half a mile away from the Orinda police station here in a quiet neighborhood about 6 years ago.
So yeah, 6 years ago, long before Druski was known at all.
And man, bro. Okay. I don't care what y'all think. But why do you wait 6 years to say something, bro? Like, why do you wait until someone is actually in the hot seat for you to say something? Like, a year go by, I understand like having to heal, go through that process of just like what went down. But like, does it take 6 years? Does it take for someone to be in the hot seat, for you to finally say something? You think they're being scared that the person will come for them. Why aren't they scared now though? Like, shouldn't it be the same? If you were scared then, why are you not scared now? Now and let's say they are scared. And maybe they, at that time, if they said something, the spotlight wouldn't be on it. Probably wouldn't get as much notoriety that it is now. Okay, I can see that. But I feel like you might be scared, but like in most cases, let's say she does go to the hospital after the situation. Most of the time, people are telling what happened right then and there. I get both sides. Right? I get both sides. The person might have been scared to say something, but for you to wait 6 years because the person's behind bars and now you say something, it kind of like discredits it just a little bit. But I see both sides. It's like I'm very sympathetic to the victim. If it's true, I'm very sympathetic for it. But I just hate that someone could bring up something from 6 years ago when they had all opportunity to say something, beforehand.
Ashley
I feel like a
Parham
lot of the
says
times they jumping in to
2018,
just try to get a
Diddy
money
and his
grab.
entourage violently gangbang style her in Orinda. Her attorney, Ariel Mitchell, says it all started when she met a man named Shane Pierce in a bar in Contra Costa County, who began a FaceTime call with Diddy.
She actually made a quip about Mr. Combs having something to do, that she didn't like him because he had something to do with Tupac's murder.
The lawsuit says Parham believes Pierce invited her over to set her up to be by Diddy. The Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office told us in a statement, a report was taken on March 23rd, 2018. We take these cases seriously, and detectives thoroughly investigated the accusations. It was later determined the claims were unfounded.
And that does make things a little bit more interesting for me because obviously a legitimate report was made at that time, but even back then the police say, well, we found no wrongdoing. As a matter of fact, they're saying we don't believe this ever even happened.
She also reported the incident to Walnut Creek Police and Orinda Police without naming Diddy, as she felt she would not be believed. The woman who lives there confirms Pierce lived there, but that he was too sick with cancer and ALS to have done this. She also says Pierce did not know Diddy.
So they're saying this guy has not only cancer, but also ALS. Now, if I really want to get
so
into
what was his motive then? Like, if that man has cancer and ALS, what was his motive to introduce her to someone like this at that party, hand you off to, like what it like
conspiracy bag? I want to note here that I think that this all could just be a mastermind smokescreen being set by Diddy and his legal team. It's like Pokemon, okay? The accuracy goes down once you set the smokescreen. Because recently the case against Jay-Z has
to a smokescreen, right? I can see a lot of this false allegations coming out right now because there has been a lot of false out. You remember when they had set up a phone like line for you to be able to call in, and people were calling in, and then they didn't have no credibility behind what they were saying. They didn't have no evidence. They didn't have nothing. They just calling in. And then people just randomly calling in. Like a lot of these like false allegations are making the case look uncredible, you know? And it goes back to what I said in the beginning as well. How this stuff can change the thought process of the jury. So in this situation, the media putting out allegations that makes the jury say he is guilty, these allegations that are being put out in social media right now that are false, or they come back to say a fault with not a lot of evidence to them, can make the jury say it's a lot of people that's trying to get a money grab, or there's a lot of people that are not giving upfront information or adding information that might not be true. So this might be the reverse effect to the jury, or a way for people like Diddy that have money to be able to manipulate the social media outlook for the jury to give him a different, sentencing. You feel me?
It's been dropped.
Ooh, I just broke that down. Oh my God.
Which I believe means that they cannot try to bring it back up in court. They cannot try and try Jay-Z again for the same thing. Obviously, there was a lot of holes in the timeline of that story. The accuser's own father said that he doesn't remember any of that taking place. And overall, the timeline and the series of events, especially when she came out on that news segment, just really were not adding up. And when the decision by the judge was made public and that entire thing was dismissed, Sean Combs' legal team would put out this statement. Today's complete dismissal by the 1-800 attorney is yet another confirmation that these lawsuits are built on falsehoods, not facts. For months, we have seen case after case filed by individuals hiding behind anonymity, pushed forward by an attorney more focused on media headlines than legal merit. Just like this claim, the others will fall apart because there is no truth to them. Sean Combs has never essayed or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. No number of lawsuits, sensationalized allegations, or media theatrics will change that reality. We will continue to fight these baseless claims and hold those responsible for these false claims. This is just the first of many that will not hold up in the court of law. And that's why I have the feeling that this entire thing is a bit of a smokescreen.
Do y'all think he read that in one take?
Because if you have enough of these outrageous allegations coming out, it allows you to kind of start poking holes and giving a little bit of reasonable doubt to accusations that could actually be legit. And it's like the more outlandish they get, like describing Druski as using her as a slip and slide, and then the timeline not adding up at all, it just hurts the case for people who are possibly actual victims of abuse at the hands of P. Diddy.
Bro, I broke that shit down.
So seemingly stuck in his corner that it's like that's all they can do to kind of like alter the public perception a little bit. And as these cases start getting knocked down and dismissed, it kind of starts the social programming and people start to think, well, maybe these other things aren't real either. And obviously on the other end of the spectrum, you're going to have a whole bunch of people just bringing up false claims because they want a payday, they want a settlement. It's just the way they describe the entire series of events just seems a little bit too outlandish for me personally to believe. Yeah. And I think that it could definitely hurt real victims in this case.
Yes.
Either way, I want to know what you guys think about these accusations down below.
Yes, W video, Jamari, yes. Bro, we're on the same page. We're literally on the same page right here. You feel me? Like that was actually a great breakdown from both parties. Talk about a W freaking reaction. Yo, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like the video and, most importantly, share it to a friend. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.